What's up, Lorain County wrestling fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Mat Report, brought to you by our friends at Cobos Insurance Center. Before we get started, I want to remind you that Cobos Insurance is locally owned and very proud supporters of the local high school wrestling scene here in Lorain County, so please consider Cobos for all your insurance needs. I'm your host, Rocco Nucci, alongside Tom Evans, the one and only Bruce Bishop behind the camera this week. And Tom, not a whole lot to go over from this past week of action, but we did have the SWC end-of-season tournament over at Olmsted Falls this past weekend. What all went down there?
And that's a biggie. That's the 62nd annual Southwest Conference Tournament. I want to give a hats off to Bill McGray, and he put together a history of the Southwest Conference Tournament. And as I said before he went on the air, for us wrestling geeks, that's something we can sit and look at for hours. But the names that are in there are the Mike Dianos, the Perianos. We talk about some of the families of the Southwest Conference, the Connolly family from Rocky River, the Atkins family from Olmsted Falls. As a matter of fact, they had cousins match up this year in the finals. Wow. But it was a great tournament. Went over there, kind of went as expected. I saw Scott Studleck when I got over there on Saturday. I said, Scott, how's it going? He goes, kind of like I thought. And they were, at that point in time, Avon Lake was running away with the tournament. They amassed 192 points, 6 champions for the Shoremen as they came out on top over there. Midview in second place with 1 champ, Avon in third with no champs. Elyria finished in fourth with 4 champs. And look out for that Elyria crew come sectionals. Yep. I've said that all year long. But let's go over the champs here just a little bit. For Avon Lake, Nate Greger at 106, Mike and Jack Valerino at 126, 130, Nate Perry at 138, and then the Marconi brothers, Joe and Jack at 157 and 165. You know, the usual suspects, and that's why Scott said, you know, kind of went the way I expected it to. But just a great tournament, very competitive tournament. A lot of real familiar names over there, but fun to see over there. It was kind of a who's of wrestling. Mm-hmm. You know, I got to talk to Eric Burnett over there a little bit. Our own Sean Bennett was over there covering for the Chronicle Telegram, and Dan Hornbeek running the scoreboard over there. So some familiar faces over at the Southwest Conference Tournament.
That's too many of you guys in one spot over there.
Yeah, one grenade gets us all in that situation. I did miss Ron Jans. Ron took the early shift. I took the late shift over there. So we were covered all day at the tournament.
There you go. There you go. Well, outside of the SWC, another rivalry of sorts with that coveted Stillman Cup. That, of course, happened. What went down there?
Yeah, anytime Firelands and Vermilions get together, that's always a knockdown, drag out, and Firelands comes out on top again. I think that's about the 4th straight year that Firelands has won the Stillman Cup. And really, this is the last time they see each other unless they both meet up at the state tournament somehow with some placers, because for the sectional tournament, Firelands goes east, and Vermilion goes west to Sandusky. So they will part ways here, even though they're probably only about 15 miles, less than 15 miles apart over there in the western end of the county.
Obviously, the Stillman Cup extends well beyond wrestling, Tom, but what do those little, two-school rivalries do for the sport of wrestling? I got to imagine that really just kind of ramps things up whenever the two teams like that come across each other.
Well, that's huge. We talk about building our sport, and that's the type of event that builds our sport. When Firelands and Vermilions get after each other, it doesn't matter whether it's Tiddlywinks wrestling or whatever the event is. They're competitive. They want to come away with a win, and believe me, the Stillman brothers, they take their shots at each other. Now, he'll hold that cup to whatever the next sport is. I don't know if basketball's finished up yet or girls basketball, but they'll hold on to that, and they'll go back and forth between them.
I'd like to see them battle it out in Tiddlywinks. That could be that could make for a fun afternoon, no question. So as we kind of continue just to wind down the season here, Tom, I know sectionals are coming up. What are we expecting there?
Well, sectionals, 6 of the 8 SWC teams, everybody but Olmsted Falls and Berea Mid-Park, will be back at Midview. Throw in Fremont Ross, Toledo St. John's, and Lorain, and you got the 9-team sectional over at Midview. Okay. So they're going to see the same people again, pretty much with a few add-ins over there, over at Midview for the sectional. As I said before, our Division II schools split each other up. Painesville-Harvey's going, Brookside's going all the way out to Painesville-Harvey. That's almost an overnighter. Firelands is going to Kenston, and so they'll split themselves up this weekend. And I said Vermilion goes to Sandusky. Division III all ends up in Independence. So Columbia, Keystone, Clearview, Black River, Wellington, Oberlin, Elyria Catholic will all be at Independence, and then off to the Perry District.
All right. So still plenty to look forward to here at the tail end of the season. Sectionals coming up, and we'll see how far our team's going to continue to march along. So Tom, an honor to be joined once again by you this week, my friend. The pleasure is mine, and yeah, best time of the year in the wrestling scene, huh?
Good stuff, and go tournaments.
There you go. So for Tom Evans, I'm Rocco Nucci, and for Bruce Bishop behind the camera, thank you for watching this week's Mat Report, brought to you by our friends at Cobos Insurance Center. We'll see you guys next week.